building a job. We were in a car, and we knew that we had the Lord on our side because we started out that way.
So, since you have been at Lee Road Baptist Church, what are some of the things that you've experienced here that like highlight your time at Lee Road?
They welcomed us because we had been together as a family from, I'm trying to figure out where I want to start, because we were married. I finished college, got the degree from my home school, got the, I'm thinking, anyway, we were in New York, down to North Carolina, over to Little Rock, Arkansas, then up to St. Louis, and finally we stopped here in Cleveland.
So, you have been, what, president of Cleveland Baptist Association.
Yes,
You have been board member at Lee Road Baptist.
yes,
You have been the Christian education chair.
yes,
You have been nursery,
yes,
Sunday school,
yes,
vacation Bible school.
yes.
What have you not done at Lee Road Baptist Church?
Let what we had to do proceed all the time. Didn't have anything to do with what we needed, because we have a plan to get there, to get it. And it's not that everything is good, but you look at it and decide, we can deal with this.
So,
We had rules.
got you. That's a good
We
point.
had rules.
Good point.
We can do what we need to do
Yes, ma'am.
if you're not depending on someone else to do it.
To do it. Now, you raised a daughter in this church.
Yes, we did.
Tell me about that daughter.
Well, we had the daughter, and when we had the daughter, we knew that I listened and moved forward before I got married. I planned the plans as we were going to go. And I can remember when I was a young girl, growing up in the Bronx in New York, and they had something they were selling, and I said, no, we don't want that. So I never drank, smoked, or ran around with the people that did it.
So, for those of you all who don't know, that Mrs. Crouther is a native New Yorker, Bronx, New York, to be exact, and spent years as a public school teacher,
Yes,
and just a phenomenal woman. Again, she raised a daughter in this church. She and her husband stayed in this church and stayed together until God said He called them home. And so at the end of the day, we are looking at one of the most powerful members of our church in terms of our history, our culture, and developing and strengthening our congregation. And it's a voice to be heard.
Ms. Crouther, didn't you dance as well?
oh yes, I didn't talk about myself as, this is just what you had to do.
But you were
I
was a
had-
professional ice skater? I mean, a roller skater
Yes.
until pandemic.
Yes, well, I can tell you that little story
Okay, I got time for little stories.
The story is my last activity group. I'll start with the education. I went to the school in St. Joseph where I was born. My father had uncles who were out in some place on the map. And they came and took my father to New York with them. And my father took my mother with him. They left my brother and I with my grandparents, Robert and Lena Mays, and they had 9 kids of their own. So I learned when my grandmother taught me, with her kids, your hands are too light, Betty Lou, as she would tell me, go find a branch, because you can't just go hit people. And I told her, I got to get mine in. So then I
Always
knew,
the feisty one.
always knew you got a brother and you're the one. But that same grandmother was the one that said her prayers every night. My mother and them being young people, I don't know where they were, but we were with the grandmother, and she and Grandpa Mays said the prayers together back there in those days. And I knew that when I hit them, they were going to have a hit before they give me one, and I can stand. And I learned as they got older and older that when we got to New York, and I'm going to school there, I don't need to do this and I don't need to do that. My father was a very smart man.
So if I were to ask you how old you were, would you tell me?
Well, I would.
Huh?
Yes, I would. I tell you, do you want the number?
How old are you?
I'm 91.
All right.
I'm 91,
And,
I'm
and with the
glad
birthday coming,
that- with the birthday coming in 2 3, if the Lord is willing.
if the Lord's willing.
If the Lord is willing, and once that she told me about that kitten, then I was saying, hey, there are more of them. There must have been 7 or 8 of them, my aunts and uncles. And I said, if I want to get hit, I'd better get mine in. So I said, if you can manage not to get, as we moved to New York, then I became my brother,
Yeah.
and then I knew what to do.
So
Don't go there.
I'm gonna ask you one last question before we go.
Well, this is short.
All right. What would you say to someone who was like, why should I consider Leroy Baptist Church?
That
Hold your mic up.
the love you can feel if you got feelers. Now, if you come in and you can't search, know what you're looking for, and we did it this way. We would go to the different churches and see what they were offering and how they were offering, and especially the people, because the people reflect what the church is, and didn't have any problems at all.
So,
Didn't have any problems at all.
so I want to thank Mrs. Crouther for spending some time with us on a Sunday afternoon here at Leroy Baptist Church after hours as we celebrate our nonagenarians heading into our 80th church anniversary in October of 2024. It is exciting to have the opportunity to share and to hear from Mrs. Crouther. And I think her word to you was, if you have feelings, you'll feel the love when you come inside. So I want to leave that with you today. You'll feel the love if you have feelings. Have a great day, everybody, and thank you so much for joining.